What is going on, everyone? JP MMA here, back with a brand new video, and I am pissed off. Dana keeps allowing these fighters to pull out. Alright, this is their job, this is how they make their money. Dana is paying them well, despite what everybody thinks. If you are even somewhat successful in the UFC, you will get paid handsomely by the boss man Dana. So, this video is being made stemming from Joe Pyfer's pullout versus Kelvin Gastelum in UFC Mexico City. So that fight was off. It got me thinking just how often these guys pull out in big spots too. These aren't prelim fights, because honestly, we could go all day about the prelim fights that are being taken off cards left and right. It's about 3 to 5 per week, and honestly, we don't even notice sometimes because they're not high caliber fights. Nobody really cares about them. Nobody really notices. But the amount of times where we have even title fights, top 10, top 5 fights, and somebody's pulling out, it's getting postponed, it's getting rebooked, it's getting ridiculous is what it is. I'm tired of it. I don't know how these guys are getting injured, getting sick. Yes, I understand the weight cut could cause an effect on your body. It takes a very big toll. You're near death, as Joe Rogan would say. But even then, there's got to be, you got to have a nutritionist. There's got to be smart ways to cut weight. I know Joe Pyfer pulled out because he ate bad Mexican food. I don't know. We got to be a little bit smarter about these things. So we're going to be going over a few fights that were either canceled completely and we have never seen it to this day, or they were just postponed and we will see them or have seen them in the future or past. Starting with Islam versus Arman. This was supposed to be the first pay-per-view of the year. This was such a high caliber fight, a hyped up fight. Two of the most skilled guys in the UFC, especially being the lightweight division. What everybody thought was going to be the toughest test for Islam Makhachev. And Arman pulls out, I think, on the Thursday on fight week, a few days before the fight. It's so, oh my gosh. I want to just kill myself every time somebody pulls out, especially in this spot. Arman pulls out with a back issue. Apparently he can't even walk. Apparently it was a weight cut injury, which I don't know how that works. You hurt your back with weight cut, but I've never done that, obviously. I don't cut weight, so, I don't really know the science behind it, the math behind it. I understand why your body can get sick, and it really messes up your immune system cutting that much weight. But I guess all the muscles are tense, and you're definitely not going to be recovering as much from any workouts. But it's just so annoying. This was one of the most hyped up fights of the year, barring maybe Jones Aspinall, maybe Hamzat, Dricus du Plessis, and we'll get to Hamzat later in this video. But yeah, Islam versus Arman. Arman pulls out, especially the challenger pulling out. You just can't do that now. I think he's paying the price. I don't think he's getting another title shot, even though I think he should. I don't think he's going to get one now. They're probably going to do Justin Gaethje, coming off one win. So that was really annoying, devastating, and to be pulling out on a main event of a title fight, a pay-per-view, it's just terrible. It's not what you want to see, and hopefully no more this year. The next one, same with Islam. Poor Islam. Half his UFC wins are like short notice opponents. I think Dan Hooker was also a short notice opponent. Bobby Green or Drew Dober, I think one of them were short notice. So I think it was the Bobby Green one. And if you've noticed, every short notice opponent for Islam, he has finished in the first round. Pretty crazy. We saw that with the Moicano one, who filled in for Arman. Got subbed up in the first round. Wasn't even close. Islam's just that good. Charles pulls out. This was in 2023. Supposed to be late in the year. Abu Dhabi. And this is the one where I was so hyped. See Charles's rematch. I hadn't started really watching MMA before their first fight, so I didn't get to see that fight live. I just started watching MMA a little bit after that, but I've seen all of Islam's title run besides that fight where he won the belt. So I was really excited to see that Charles fight live rematch. Charles seemed like the most dangerous guy for Islam at the time, besides maybe Volkanovski. and he freaking pulls out again the same week before. I don't know. It could have been a few days before. I don't think it was too far out either. Probably the Thursday. And that, if you guys remember, was also the time where Paulo Costa pulled out as well versus Khamzat in the co-main event. So you have one of the best pay-per-views of the year in Abu Dhabi, and you have the main and co-main needing short notice replacements against Islam and Khamzat Makhachev. Now, thank God we have Volk and Kamaru Usman, who are absolute gangsters, who are willing to fill in short notice against those guys. But, we saw what happened with Volk. Coming in on short notice is not a recipe for winning a fight, especially in a title fight versus the champion, versus the pound-for-pound best. It's really unlikely to happen. And Charles had a huge cut on his right eyebrow. It's just like, bro, I understand if you're getting sick or it's really something you can't control, but why are we getting huge gashes on your eyebrows the day before your title fight, especially it being a rematch, such an important fight in your career? I mean, there was a meme. I saw a meme. It's like Charles and a sparring partner a day before the fight. And it was just Lawler McDonald, the rematch, just a picture of that. It's like, why is your sparring partner throwing nasty elbows and cutting you open 2 days before your title fight? Most fighters don't even really spar or train that much, that short notice out from a title fight, just because obviously they don't want to get injured. They don't want to risk injury. It's like, what's the point of even sparring? There's really nothing more you can do that short out from the fight. Next one, very recent at 313. Gaethje versus Hooker, another violent one we were going to see. From me, these are all lightweight fights. Absolute lightweight bangers as well. Gaethje Hooker. Hooker pulls out with a broken foot, I think. Just criminal. And yes, we're getting great short notice replacements like Fiziev, like Kamaru Usman, like Volk. These are top tier fighters, but none of them won. So it's really not a recipe for winning to have a filling on short notice. But obviously these guys know what's at stake. These guys know that obviously it's not ideal to be coming in on short notice, but it's so annoying to have this fight taken away from us as well. This is going to be so violent, and it was a fresh fight. Usually Gaethje, he's fought Poirier already, he's fought Charles already, he's fought Chandler already, and so was Hooker. So this was a fresh matchup. It was going to be a violent co-main event right before a great main event in Pereira Ankalaev, and we just didn't get to see it. So I really hope they book this one in the future. I'm really pulling for it. I don't want the Gaethje title fight. I want him to fight Dan Hooker. I don't see a reason not to rebook it. We know Dana likes rebooking fights that got canceled, and we will take a look at one that did get rebooked later this video. Rebook the Gaethje and Hooker fight. I don't see why not. John Jones Stipe. This was a while ago. Jones pulled out. This was, my gosh, I don't even know. Was this 2023 or 2024? Jones pulls out. What is he? Fractures his pec, tears his pec. There's training footage of that injury happening, believe it or not. But he tears his pec. He's out for at least, I don't even know, at least a year. Not that we wanted to see this fight anyway, so now we have to delay the division even further just so we could get this freaking fossil versus fossil, T-Rex versus Stegosaurus fight in the heavyweight division that nobody wants to see. That Dane is glazing it up and saying that everybody wants to see it, and this is John Jones' toughest fight. That's what Joe Rogan's saying. This is John Jones' toughest fight. I mean, shut up, Joe. The guy's low-key a casual. Either way, Jones goes out for a year, and now he's still out. He didn't even pull out. He doesn't even have a fight to pull out of. He's just not fighting versus Aspinall. He's ducking Aspinall. The guy's been pretty criminal for this heavyweight division. We've seen literally one heavyweight championship fight in the last 2 years while Tom Aspinall is defending his interim belt, knocking guys out cold, wasting Tom's prime. It's an absolute joke. Get John Jones in the cage. Pay him whatever you want. I know I'm not in charge of the UFC money. It's not my money, but let's go. This is the goat of the UFC, the goat of the sport. Pay him as much as you want. Pay him as much as he wants. This is going to be the biggest fight of all time, barring maybe Islam or Ilya, maybe. So I don't see why you can't do that fight. You have to do that fight, to be honest. But yeah, Jones pulls out for a year, and we finally get to see that fight, which no one wanted in the first place, making it even worse. Hill Roundtree, another very recent one that I had to add on this list because, I mean, I'm getting the idea. Well, Jamal Hill pulled out, Prates just pulled out, Pyfer Gastelum just pulled out. I got to make a video about this. I got to get some fights lined up and talk about them. So you hear about those fights in a sec. Hill Roundtree, it's always the most violent fights. It's always some of the best fights that are booked that are getting canceled. I think Jamal Hill pulled out of this one. I even remember, what was that, the co-main? It was supposed to be Hill versus Olberg at UFC 303. That fight went about 4 different opponents. Both opponents got switched. It was supposed to be Hill versus Olberg. Then it was Roundtree versus Olberg. And then it was Roundtree versus Smith. I don't know. There was literally 4 different... I think it ended up being Dolidze Smith. It went from Hill Olberg to Dolidze Smith. What? I mean, holy crap. Jamal Hill pulls out. We don't get to witness this absolute banger at light heavyweight. It has importance for the division of the future of the division as well. Both these guys in the top 10, nearing the top 5. Recently fighting for the belt as well. And we're almost guaranteed to see a knockout in that fight, and it gets taken away. That was the Kansas City main event. Although I will say Dana does do pretty well at replacing these fights, as I'll bring up in a second. But I guess it's really not up to him. It's up to the fighters to take these fights, and good on a lot of these savages for taking these short notice replacement fights. Pyfer Gastelum, supposed to happen in Mexico City. Joe Pyfer eats some bad Mexican food, goes on a rant on Instagram afterwards. He's saying he'll never step foot in Mexico. This fight was supposed to be a banger as well. Would Joe Pyfer finally crack the chin of Kelvin Gastelum? I mean, I was really looking forward to this fight because Joe Pyfer is a great prospect with some of the best power in the whole of the UFC. Supposedly broke Francis's punching power record on the little machine. But either way, this would have been a great one. I know it's not a top 5. Both these guys are even unranked, but it's not a top 5 fight. It's not a title fight, but still want to mention that happened very, very recently. This fight did get booked for UFC 316 in Newark, which hopefully I will be going to. So kind of a blessing in disguise that I get to see that in person now. Royval versus Cap, another main event that was going to be sick. This was going to be sick. I mean, there were probably going to be 200 significant strikes landed for each guy if this one went the distance, if somebody didn't go out cold. Cap versus Royval, the 2 best strikers in the flyweight division, barring maybe Brandon Moreno, but Cap is up there, and Royval outstruck Brandon Moreno in their fight, going to a split decision. Cap is on the rise. Moreno's the number 1 contender. This would have been a sick fight. Like I said, so much output and the threat of the knockout. And just the visual of these flyweights with how fast they are and the showmanship of Manel Cap. This was going to be so good. I was so hyped for it. And then we see freaking Cap versus Almabayev. I mean, come on. And Almabayev gets ran through. He's running away by the end of the 3rd round, and Beltran calls it off because he's literally running from Manel Cap. I mean, it was a snoozer. It was an absolute snoozer. Almabayev, certainly not one of those guys like Fiziev that are filling in on short notice. Next one, Conor Chandler. I had to throw this one in there because Conor is running for president of Ireland at this point instead of getting in the cage. And we've been talking about for years, when is his next fight? When is his next fight? And then that fight got booked. We had a press conference set for Ireland. McGregor stubs his toe and he pulls out of the fight. I don't even know if it seemed like we were actually close. You know, how far was that from the actual fight? Not too far out. McGregor hurts his toe. I think he breaks it. Probably just a little stub toe. I at that point I was pretty sure that McGregor was never fighting again, and even after that, people are saying, you know, when's McGregor fighting? Who's he gonna fight? Ilia Topuria, or we're saying, you know, what's the level at this guy at? Like, is Jared Gordon an even opponent for him right now? We don't really know. Like, the more and more I look at this guy, the more and more we wait, there's no way this guy's fighting. And I think now it's pretty certain this guy is not fighting. He's snorting whatever he's snoring up his nose. He's sparring bantamweights in the gym. He's on his yacht at the F1 races. He's doing movies. He's running for president of a country. There's just no way he's fighting again. And Michael Chandler has accepted that at this point, I hope. And he's moving on. He's fighting Paddy Pimblett this week at UFC 314. So that should be good. He wasted Chandler's prime. Sucks for Chandler. He was trying to get that big money fight, though. So, yeah, Conor's never coming back. Can't believe that fight was even booked in the first place, to be honest. Bilal versus Shavkat, another title fight, canceled. This was at the end of last year at UFC 310, I'm pretty sure. Bilal versus, and then they had to put in Gary versus Shavkat as the number one contenders fight. Bilal pulls out. And I think Dana has now said to Bilal that you cannot pull out or you're getting stripped, which is kind of funny. It's amazing the fact that if you don't get finishes in the UFC, in this promotion, Dana will shit all over you. He will make it his promise to not allow you to reach the title, not allow you to reach the top contenders. But if you do get finishes, on the other hand, he will fast track you, and I guess that's not surprising, but it's just funny to see. So Bilal pulls out of that fight. I think his pinky was also messed up. His pinky looked like a balloon. So he pulls out of that fight. Another title fight gone, and this was December, not even a year ago. Title fight after title fight. So hold on, UFC 310, Bilal pulls out. UFC 311, Arman pulls out. That's back-to-back title fights where a guy has pulled out of the fight. This is a title fight, the main event of a pay-per-view, and back-to-back we've seen somebody pull out. UFC 312, nothing really happened. That card was an absolute atrocity. Either way, DDP versus Strickland. And then 313, we see the co-main gone before our eyes, although Fiziev did fill in there. But either way, and then with the one before that, 309, we have Jones-Stipe, that nobody wanted to see coming off. Stipe was coming off who knows how long. He hadn't even fought in Venom shorts before that. And Jones coming off 2 years, Stipe coming off 3 years. I mean, what is going on with the pay-per-views? This pay-per-view, UFC 314, though, should be absolutely sick. Khamzat and Paulo Costa, the two guys notorious for pulling out of fights, last minute especially. Paulo Costa doesn't like to fight. Honestly, who knows how many fights in the UFC this guy has left. This guy doesn't like to fight. Khamzat has been a little bit more active recently. This fight was supposed to happen on the card where Islam was supposed to rematch Charles. So, like I said, Charles pulls out. Paulo Costa pulls out somehow. And we were saying the whole week, there is no way that this fight is actually going to take place. The only time I'll believe this fight is happening is when two guys are in the cage and Mark Garda is saying to fight. I mean, especially, with how sick Khamzat gets. I mean, I remember Dana saying this guy is violently ill. I don't remember what fight that was, but that's not even on here. That's another one Khamzat's pulled out of. And Paulo Costa, we know, just doesn't care. Doesn't give a fuck, mate. He doesn't care about anything. Probably doesn't even want to fight, so that's why I'm saying I don't know how many fights he has left in his career. This guy never fights, and when he gets a fight booked, he pulls out. So what are we doing, Paulo Costa? I don't understand. As for Khamzat, put on a great fight versus Kamaru Usman. Props to Usman for stepping in, but it's another co-main, another top 5 fight, or I guess Paulo wasn't top 5, another top fight / co-main event / main event that was scrapped. And I didn't even talk about this one because I think it happened after I even made this slideshow. Is Protez Jeff Neal, another one that's supposed to be happening this week at UFC 314. That fight's gone. Jeff Neal pulls out. Another fight. It's always the entertaining ones. Protez Neal should be a stand-up fight only. Both guys have knockout power. Can Jeff Neal fraud check Carlos Protez? Who knows? That was a really exciting fight and a big question mark for Protez's future in the division, because if he gets past Jeff Neal, that would have been a lot of hype on his train And because Jeff Neal is certainly capable of pretty much beating anybody outside the top 5 in this division. So that would have been a great fight, very violent, striking only, nothing more you could ask for. But obviously, we can't have any joy in this promotion. So if that fight goes, at least Dana does well on us and gets the Prates Ian Gary main event in Kansas City, replacing the Jamal Hill Khalil Roundtree main event that was scrapped. It's just, fight gets scrapped. This 5 fights get scrapped. Okay, or 6 fights get scrapped. Now we have 3 fights to make because, you know, one guy pulled out of each fight. It's just criminal at this point. But Ian Gary Prates is a sick fight. At least Dana has really done his best to find a replacement for that main event. You have to. So Ian Gary Prates main event should be a great striking match. I don't even know who I'm gonna pick. Might have to go with Prates, to be honest. Ian Gary's great though. Showed a lot of will and skill in that fight versus Shavkat. So definitely showed that he kind of belongs in that top 5 of the welterweight division. But if Prates gets that KO, I think it'll be even more. If he KOs Ian Gary, it'll be even more impressive than KOing Jeff Neal. So. But either way, that'll do it. Just a little rant that's been on my mind. Pullout after pullout after pullout. We've seen a title fight, main event, co-main event of pay-per-views. It's getting ridiculous at this point. I really hope that Dana implements some type of rule to where you can't, that limits these guys pulling out. I mean, you know, 1 pullout a year or a fine, something like that. But at the end of the day, you know, it's, if they can't fight, they can't fight. If they're deathly ill like Hamzat gets, they're deathly ill. You know, I can't hold that against them. I'm sure these guys aren't pulling out just for the fun of it. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see some type of rule go in place, but I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't any rules made, because I don't know if the logistics work out. So that'll do it for this video. Like I said, just a little rant that was on my mind. But leave a comment, like if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, and that's it.